Good morning. My name is Fitz Slight. I'm the CEO and founder of FlightSuite.ai, and I want to thank you all for coming out this morning and logging in online. Now, at FlightSuite, our mission is quite simple. Turn every CRM into a smart CRM. We started back in February. We currently have 41 customers, a 90% retention rate, and we're doing 7.3K in MRR. Everything right now is currently being bootstrapped. Now, I can tell Matt is like, Fitz, what's the problem? It's a great question, guys. And the problem is that most CRMs, well, I could say 90% of CRMs today, have an execution gap that is costing businesses time and money. Now, 50% of leads are never followed up with. About 3/4 of all CRM users say that their CRM is underutilized. And 70% of businesses cite their follow-through as their main revenue leak. So the main problem is people are lazy. AI is not. FlightSuite.ai turns CRMs into a self-operating system that handles intake, follow-up, and pipeline execution automatically. Now, we do this in three main ways. First is our AI front desk and intake, an employee that can answer any call or intake an employee at any time. We do this through our smart CRM execution, an employee that can create its own automations, remind itself to follow up, and give you the insights that you want on your business. And we do this through autonomous multi-channel ops, an employee that can respond across voice, text, Facebook, Instagram, as well as several other native integrations. So this is a screenshot of our conversational AI. We measure ROI in time that we're saving you from on the phone. This is a screenshot of our no-code automation builder. You talk to it in plain English, it builds automations such as create a nurture sequence for these leads for 1 day, 3 day, 5 day. More importantly, here's what we're working on and releasing in a couple weeks, which is our browser native extension. With our browser native extension, it will ideally be able to sit on top of any CRM, HubSpot, Zoho, Salesforce. You connect to it, you talk to it in plain English, and it will then run your CRM business as if you had a CRM admin manager. So for example, send a calendar invite to Matt and say that I got nexted, something like that. And then lastly, we have several native integrations that are on the platform. There is also a native embedded CRM in the platform, as well as there are 1,000 other webhooks and integrations that we can connect when we start talking about APIs. Our business model is quite simple. It's a subscription model. Our most popular plan is our growth plan, and we're actually in the process of bumping up prices $100 between our starter and our growth plan. And I would say from our first 30 customers, there's something that we've known. It's proven that business owners want to adopt AI when it does not change their existing systems. So with our first initial 30 customers, our CAC was $200. We were able to validate about 10 plus service industries. Currently, our burn is 3.2K. And right now we're at a point where more capital fuels our scale. We're basically out of that trial and error phase, and we're starting to find that product market fit. Now, when we look at our total market, we're looking at a 10 billion plus available market. We're more so concerned with the near and making something sustainable relatively soon to scale. And we're going to do that by focusing right now on CPA firms. We have a return-ready tax AI product that we built for them that will essentially help them handle intake, because I think, as you guys know, if you message any CPA next month and in January, they will probably not respond or tell you that they're not accepting new customers. And then within 2 years, we're aiming for an AR target of 15 million. This is targeting 5,000 of that 100,000 available or addressable CPA market. Now, CPAs is just the start. Ideally, what we're trying to get to is that universal CRM intelligence layer across any service industry. CPAs is what we're starting out with for vertical specifically. Then we're going to real estate and mortgage AI. And then we're going to be in that universal front desk CRM execution engine to get us to that 30 billion total available market of any service business. I am the founder and CEO. I am a solo founder. I'm also backed by a really, really great support team of advisors, and that list is growing each day. And we're asking for $1 million raise so that we can acquire 1,000 CPA firms in the next 12 to 18 months. We're going to do this by increasing our CAC actually from 200 to 500. This is mainly because we are going after higher quality leads, and as we go more upstream, this allows us to actually increase our price. The LTV that we're targeting is 2.8K, but this is based off our old pricing of $295. So as we go to $395, LTV is going to increase. LTV to CAC ratio is still going to be way higher than 3 times. And we're using this capital to acquire channels and partnerships, but more so business development and infrastructure to scale. So that is the information on Flight Suite. I am actually ready to get to the fun part. So I'll pass it over to you guys.
Can you guys hear me? Great pitch. I think really interesting space that you're building into. Obviously, AI, in my opinion, has fundamentally changed the way that people will actually interact with the pane of glass of software. And CRM has always been one of these places where garbage in, garbage out, right? If the team doesn't buy into putting things in the right place, like you're not able to forecast, you're not able to see a good, accurate representation of the business. So I think that said, like the space you're building in is very competitive. There is a lot of AI touching the sales stack these days. Like Chris will be able to tell you more than anything else. There's 1,000,001 startups out here trying to build this. So what I did not hear from you here was, who are you? What is your background? And what gives you a unique advantage to do distribution hacks? I think like our view on software these days is anyone can vibe code anything and get to 1 million of ARR. Where real startup founders win is what unique distribution hack do they have to get them to that point and open up those relationships and do unscalable things in the beginning to put them ahead of the curve and all the other noise out there?
Yeah, that's a great question. So my name is Fitzlight. My background is in investment banking, venture capital, and private equity. I initially came up with this idea as I would go into these small mom and pop shops through private equity. First thing that we're doing is installing a system, something like this, so that we can start tracking KPIs and metrics. Once we know those metrics, now we can actually know how to scale the business and pull different levers. In terms of that distribution channel, that actually goes down to, I think, one of my most important advisors, which is going to be Dakota. He is a 3-time SaaSpreneur Award winner. That means that he has grown 3 SaaS businesses to $1 million in ARR 3 different times. But more importantly, he currently leads a coaching agency for about 300 GHL, just coaches that each have about 20 to 50 customers in their base. So when we come out with that web extension, the idea is to roll that out more so from the agency owners, who will then give it to their users. So we're more so going after that agency approach, similar to how GHL does it with their current setup and infrastructure.
Awesome. Cool.
So I thought it was a good presentation. There were a few things that I want to say that you did especially well, right? How many of you understand what he's doing? Yep, good. You did a great job of telling everybody what you were doing at the beginning. Sometimes a presenter will complete their presentation to us and it's still not clear what they're up to, right? Right? I mean, you've been here for that, right? You kind of feel for them. There were 2 things I would say to you. You told me a lot about the product. Okay, fine. I'm way more interested in what the benefits are for the prospect, right? Because you started to show me the browser extension, you know, the native CRM, all that stuff. I'm more interested in what is going to happen to the prospect after they start using the product, so that I can find out whether or not I believe they're going to come to you. Because fundamentally what you said is you're going to go get 450 CPAs to come give you $3,000 a month. And then,
a year.
3,030, you're right, sorry, yeah. 300 a month, right? Yeah?
Yeah.
And that's going to get you to 15 million.
That's correct.
Okay, so getting to 450 CPA firms doesn't sound super crazy to me, does it to you guys? I mean, like, you know, like it's not insanity, right? And so I'm very curious, how are you going to get to them, right? And like, I think your answer just now was okay, not great. Yeah? What did you think?
Yeah, like I think you leaned into how that guy, your advisor, will basically help you reach or scale SaaS companies, but where's the unique lens on the CPA firm specifically?
Yeah, it's got, you know a guy,
yeah,
right? And it's like, well, it's fine, right? But like, if you can get to the 450 or close the 450, like you could win. So what did you want to say?
Yeah, so I'm actually glad that you asked that question. So right now we actually have a pilot program of CPAs that we've been working with. And I would say out of the past 2 weeks, me and my team have talked to about 200 CPAs. Now what's interesting about the business of what we learned is CPAs are this rare industry where they don't really have an issue with leads coming in, especially as we get to tax season that's coming up. That is a very obvious pain point of how we really kind of press in and hit CPAs. The issue that they have is that they're turning down marketing right now just because they don't have enough time to answer the phones. So I have a couple clients that when they were saying this to me, like, wait, you're turning down your marketing because you can't answer the phone enough? Well, actually, that's one of our core benefits that we're able to solve for you. The second thing was more so that onboarding process that CPAs have to go through. One of the reasons of why they can't really increase their throughput of customers is because they have to consistently remind them, hey, upload your information to this portal, et cetera, et cetera. So that's when we were working with our pilot program, like, okay, well, how about we build this for you and we built that for you. But then more importantly, the cool thing that unlocked the aspect where it made CPAs firms like really start to perk up was saying that, hey, actually you're back in this tax dome, you're back in this canopy. What if we integrate with your current systems? We don't want to give you a new dashboard. We don't want to make you learn a new tool. Why not make it so that it captures that information and flows directly into your current tools to make your current tools work how they should be working without you having to learn how to do it.
You were great the first 2 minutes of your pitch. I think if you sharpened up what you just said about why you're so awesome for CPAs and how you're going to get to them and got to that level, it would help you. It was good, yeah. Good.
Two things. First, two incredibly good parts of your pitch. The first is you showed a market size that was gigantic, and then you admitted that you need to only capture such a small amount of the market to be successful that you can't even calculate it or measure it, because what I hate are pitches that come in and say it's a $30 billion market, and if I can get 4%, then I can be a $200 million company. And that's insane. So I like the realism in your pitch. The other part that I think is really important, if I was going to give some perspective that's maybe a little different than what these guys said, is the use case that you presented around CPAs, I think, is exceptionally interesting. I don't think the general purpose, AI and automation and agentic AI really has any meaning generally. It's got to be applied to very specific use cases in places where data and context can give you advantage in the training and you can do something super special. And I think what you're trying to do with CPAs has the potential to be that. I would abstract that a little bit from a systems thinking standpoint to think there are lots of occasionally connected business processes that require onerous amounts of data intake to begin the process. If you could be the absolute fucking expert at deploying an agent that captures that data for various types of systems that one time or that couple times a year where data intake is really critical. The CPA example is a perfect one. I hate talking to my CPA, but when he sends me that stupid email with the tax planning book and I have to go get all my shit, I want to blow my brains out. If you solve that problem, you can solve other problems like that. That's a very specific, highly tailored, nuanced agentic kind of implementation that I think could have tremendous scale, actually. So I love that part of it, and I would lean into use cases in your pitch. Here's the exact problem I'm going to solve and how I can do it.
One last kind of thing to piggyback off there. If I was in your shoes, just lean in to the CPA verticalization of this. Yep. This pitching, all it is storytelling. I don't care if you're going to be the AI company for all CRMs one day. What you should tell investors is, I am the vertical AI co-pilot for CPAs. Point blank. And yes, you can have a slide that shows how you're going to expand in the future, but lean into that positioning.
Okay. That's a great use case.
And a novel way to communicate that, go back to your market slide, right? I saw an interesting person not too long ago. Go back, that one, reverse those. Say, I'm starting there, right? The fifth, right? I'm starting down there, right? I'm not sacrificing down. This is where I'm great. I'm going to grow up from there, but it was good. Yeah. Who wants to ask Fitz a question? Come on, I know you do. Yeah, go ahead.
So hey Fitz, how's it going? It's good to see you, buddy. My main question is
Fitz's friend is asking a question.
Yeah. I didn't know he was going to be here.
No,
Power of networking, everyone's a friend, right?
Go ahead.
It's more question for like legitimately in going in the direction of AI at all. It feels like if you're going to build an AI company, the next year there's something that you can just that's going to be like the next ChatGPT will do it for you. When you guys are thinking about businesses that are building, fully investing into a vertical and a specific deliverable, isn't there a fear that it's just going to be free or included in some of the package? Or vibe codable, or
There's no such thing as an AI company, just so everybody's aware.
Agreed.
It doesn't exist. It's not a thing. AI is just software. That's all it is. It's a software company. So I look past it, honestly. I think your question's a really astute one because there is this assumption that the biggest players in the space and agentics will consume all these processes and whatever. You're building a software company in the end. You happen to be applying, AI in a novel way. And if you've got bespoke data and, you're smart, you can gain some advantage. You still got to think of yourself as a software company. I think there's an oversimplification in what AI is, and it's really not a business all by itself personally. So I tend to look past that stuff. In a one-on-one conversation, we would talk more specifically about the business and the business model and how AI is applied. And I don't get overly biased by that notion just because I know it fundamentally it doesn't change the principles of going to market with software.
Matt, what do you think?
I think to go back to my original point, that's a little bit why distribution is king with software these days. The faster you can move and sell your product and the more unique advantage you have to get it in the hands of customers, the better off you're going to be. Because the reality is yes, none of our portfolio companies know if ChatGPT is going to eat their lunch 3 months from now, 6 months from now, a year from now. So we just got to move fast. And I think a big part of that is what you as a founder and you as an early team bring to the table to get this in the hands of customers.
Right. And there's a long history of people saying, well, you shouldn't build that because Microsoft will build that. And you shouldn't build that because Google will build that. And you shouldn't do that because Facebook will build it, right? And the reality is that something that size, right, can make Fitz rich, right? I mean, he can do great. And if a product manager at ChatGPT says, hey, do you know what? I know how we can go get $15 million more in revenue in the next 2 years, everyone's going to be like, bro, you're looking through the wrong end of the telescope, right? They're going to come back to him and just say, we're not investing at that scale, right? And so if you are not a foundation model, if you're not massively capitalized, right, you should, in my opinion, find a niche that you can dominate with two things, right? Extreme product market fit in terms of the benefit for the prospect and extreme market product fit in the way that you get there, right? That you can talk to those people better than anybody else. Because the most provocative thing that you said, in my opinion, the question answer thing, is you said, I talked to 200 CPAs. Okay, now I'm really interested. How did that go? How many of them are in the pipeline, right? Where are they at? Because that to me is where I'd start to get validation as to whether or not you're onto something.
Right, so right now we have 4 CPAs on the pipeline. I actually have 2 demos coming up today and tomorrow. This is all through cold calling. What we found is, my team had a lot of receptionists, and so we had to switch our model of maybe we don't pitch the decision maker, actually let's pitch the receptionist, make them a champion, and then once they're a champion, they'll bring it to their big boss. And so that's what we mainly switched to this week. And since we switched to that, it's been going pretty well. So I would say at first it was about a 1% kind of conversion from off of cold calling. And right now we're tracking for 3 to 5% this week just from switching it, pitching the receptionist. So now we're thinking about experimenting with maybe we do LinkedIn prospecting, offer the admins, hey, here's some DoorDash credit to have a quick call with us, and then being able to scale that way.
Go ahead and wrap up.
Sorry about that.
There's a book I think you should look at. It's called Who Not How. And the concept behind Who Not How is, I think that given enough time, you could figure out how to sell in to CPA organizations. I think you could. I also think that there's probably 10,000 people in the world right now who already know how to do that. And you should go find some of them and just let them tell you. Right? Because the trial and error process for you, that's an opportunity for all your competition. You know
Find
what I mean?
Tanner. Isn't Tanner's business now very heavily focused on accounting?
I don't know who Tanner is.
Tanner, and his last name is Fritz, and your first name is Fritz, so you guys should hook up.
Oh, yeah,
He's got
Tanner.
it. Yeah, Tanner's. I think he's in the accounting space. I think
Yeah.
primarily now. And
Go talk to those guys.
Go talk to those guys. I mean, that's a great local community connection. He's a wonderful young man. He's got a great, successful business, and they're building, I think, very, very successfully in that space. Because I think you can do it. You're stroking it out one at a time is, it's hard. That kind of growth hacking is hard. I think you could probably have an impact at greater scale, maybe through some sort of a channel or with some partnerships
and
that know how to get to those folks.
The debug guys would have interesting.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Wrap it up right here, but let's give it up for Pitch, everybody.
Good job.